What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now Eastern and Western Conference Finals time in terms of the NBA side of things. I know we've been talking a lot about the draft and a lot about new acquisitions in the coaching staff and departures from the coaching staff. It's time, at least for this specific video, to take our attention away from the Chicago Bulls a little bit and look at the very best that the East and the West have to offer. Quite an interesting development for both East and Western Conference, and I want to give my prediction on who and which teams will make the NBA Finals. It should be a very interesting set of series. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and how mad are you that you are not in this position right now. The East and the Western, well, we'll never be in the Western Conference Finals, but the Eastern Conference Finals at least. Does this set any sort of anger towards you? Because I know it does me. Again, these are not easy videos to make, but as someone that is part of the NBA family, essentially, with the content creation, and people do want to hear, I guess, thoughts on these situations, even if it's my own, which I don't understand, but regardless, it is what it is. I still want to get my points across about what I think about the East and the Western Conference Finals ahead. So, let's get started. First and foremost, we need to look at the previous series, and I've got a lot of them wrong in the second round, ladies and gentlemen, but the one series I did not get wrong was Boston and Cleveland. I knew the Boston Celtics were going to defeat the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's very upsetting because it looks like, I personally think, if Cleveland had Jared Allen for a lot of that series, I don't think that he showed up in any of the games with his injury, and I know Kristaps Porzingis got injured as well. So that sucks to see for both teams, essentially. But if they had Jared Allen with no Kristaps Porzingis, I think they would have done a lot better than they did. Losing in 5 is not necessarily a great feeling, I would assume, for Cleveland fans and the Cleveland Cavaliers team in general, which is it's a frustrating thing. And there's even rumors now that the Cleveland head coach is on the chopping block in terms of his job. So we'll just have to wait and see how their team progresses into the next season. But Boston did what Boston always do. They show up, they shine, they hit threes, they play defense, and they walk away with a win. It's a very basic concept, but they do it so well. You know, I look at the teams that are still in, I guess, the NBA playoffs, and even the teams that just got eliminated from them. There's one clear standout guy. You know, for example, OKC had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka Doncic with the Dallas Mavericks, Nikola Jokic with the Denver Nuggets, Anthony Edwards with the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's the clear number one guy on that team, and you need those guys to play well if you're going to win. I look at Boston, and obviously the number one guy would be Jason Tatum, right? Everybody can agree with that. But I don't feel like they need Jason Tatum to perform well every single game for them to win. There's a clear team structure there that I don't think any team possesses at this point in time. For Cleveland, again, we've already just mentioned them. We'll see what happens in the offseason, but a very disappointing way to make your claim. Again, you want to make it at least an entertaining and close series with the best team in the Eastern Conference. You need that at the end of the day to build confidence in yourselves for future years and to obviously continue to build the progression of your team in future years as well. So they disappointed in the second round. So we'll talk about the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks now, and what a series this was, ladies and gentlemen, with the Indiana Pacers walking away with the victory in this series in Game 7 against the New York Knicks. It was a completely, the way that I see it at least, it was a completely different style between both teams. You know, the Knicks wanted to wear you down, beat you down, and slow you down, and the Pacers wanted to pick up the pace and outrun you and outwork you and just do all those things, right? And it led to some really interesting basketball. Again, most of these series were extremely entertaining, and that one was at the top of the list for me. But it's a bit disappointing. I think Jalen Brunson got hurt within the last game, I believe, Game 7 and stuff of that nature. And yeah, that sucks to see. Obviously, you don't want to see a series defined in that way, but I think the Pacers were pretty much in control of that game anyway. But yeah, very, very, very happy for the Pacers, a team that no one expected to be where they were, even when they got Pascal Siakam, and they are now sitting in the Eastern Conference Finals, beating a Milwaukee Bucks team, to be fair, that was injured and battered and bruised, but a very healthy, except for maybe Julius Randle, and in the end, Jalen Brunson, New York Knicks team that had a point to prove in their own right. And for the Knicks, I don't think this is over for the Knicks. You got to realize they took a big risk with OG Anunoby. They took a big risk bringing someone in and sacrificing a lot of young talent. And they got a pretty good roster in return. And injuries did play a factor. I do not think this is over for the New York Knicks. I think if you don't see them at the top or in the top 3 or 4 of the Eastern Conference next year, I'll be stunned. Because I see their team coming back stronger than ever next year with Julius Randle in the team and hopefully having a rather healthy season compared to what they had to deal with towards the end of the season and, of course, in the playoffs. It is not over for the Knicks. I know Knicks fans, look, there's always going to be a little bit of saltiness losing in a Game 7. I think hopefully most Knicks fans will know that this is only the beginning for them. Do not count your team out just yet. That's the message I have for the Knicks fans. But in terms of who I think is going to win this series, I can't go against the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and I can't go against, in my humble opinion, the best team in the NBA today. I'm going to pick Boston, and I'm going to pick them in 6. Indiana, in my opinion, is the team that can match up with Boston the most. I think they've had some really good really good regular season games against them, and they match up well. But at the end of the day, Boston are going to have to raise their level, and they do raise their level in the playoffs. So I can't go against them. No matter how much odds might favor the Pacers from the regular season point of view, at least. I don't know who won their series in the regular season, but I'm assuming the Pacers did fairly well because it looks like Pacers fans are a bit confident coming into this. I see Boston running away with it, to be honest. Western Conference time. We've got the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. I got both of these series wrong, just like I got the Pacers and the Knicks series wrong. I picked the Knicks to win, and the Pacers won. I picked the OKC Thunder to win, and the Mavericks won. I picked the Denver Nuggets to win, and the Minnesota Timberwolves won. What a crazy sequence, ladies and gentlemen. And it just goes to show, especially in the West, how unpredictable it is. But man, what a series it was between the Dallas Mavericks and the OKC Thunder. 2 MVP caliber players going head to head with a really good team behind them, and in the end, what turned out to be true was Dallas walking away with a win. Now, Dallas did actually play better or played well against the OKC Thunder in the regular season, and that proved to be true in the playoffs as well. But it felt like every game was watch-worthy. It felt like every game was truly an exciting one. And I think it was Game 6, was it not? Was it Game 6 between the two? It's quite outstanding, I cannot lie. So, again, fair play to the OKC Thunder. Once again, I think they're the youngest team to come into the playoffs. Definitely not going to be over for them as well. They're going to have a long, successful run in the playoffs before they go out to win quietly. So you got to give respect for them, as young as they are, to deliver in the way that they did. And for Dallas, this is a new step for them. Luka Doncic, I don't think has been this far in the playoffs before. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this is a good experience for him. A generational talent in my eyes is Luka Doncic, and you want generational talents to reach the pinnacle, which is the NBA Finals and championship glory. You want to see that happen. And they're going to have to deal with a pretty tough team with the Timberwolves and the team that they have running. A team that hasn't won a championship in their entire franchise history has an opportunity to make the finals here. Now, they swiftly beat Denver in my eyes. I think that was also a Game 7 win. It wasn't swiftly, I guess you could say. But they were the underdogs walking into that series after what happened last season. But this is not the same Minnesota Timberwolves team, and they walked away showing their quality has improved from last season to this season. It's a really, really tough battle. But who do I see walking away with a win between the Dallas Mavericks and the Timberwolves? Well, ultimately, I think it is time to back the Minnesota Timberwolves here. I'm going to pick them to win in a 6-game series. Luka is special. I think Dallas has potential to be special. But the way that Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and the best bench in the league have been playing, that is a really hard team to, I guess, doubt at this point in time. And they just beat the reigning champions. For Denver, they're going to have to go back to the drawing board. And with the quality they have, they'll be just fine. But to beat the reigning champions, ending their run as champions, essentially, that's something I can't refuse at this point in time. So, to sum it up, I'm picking the Celtics to win in 6. I'm picking the Timberwolves to win in 6. Am I right? Am I wrong? We'll find out in, 2 weeks' time? And then we can talk about the NBA Finals. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care, and peace.